So good evening and welcome to WSA's course demo webinar. My name is Mubeen and I work as a technology head at WSA. So this webinar is going to be a brief introduction about what WSA's full stack web development course looks like. And I'll also share a brief detail about the course deliverables and the learning approach which we take, our pedagogy, as well as I'll share a quick demo of how we can build a simple web application within a short period so that you can get to know of how to get started with the web application development. So I could see many of you have joined our freshers who are currently doing their engineering course. And I could also see that some of you are working in different technology areas all across India. So in brief, what I'll do is I'll share you a brief history about WSA as a company and give a brief introduction to what problems we are trying to solve, and then we'll move on to the specific details about the full stack web development course which you offer and what values we are trying to basically share as part of the course delivery and how different it is from other basically players in the market, and what are the USPs you're going to get as part of the course which we deliver. So it's going to be a brief webinar. Maybe we'll try to wind up in 1.5 hours of time. So I welcome all to this webinar, and in case you have any questions with respect to the topics which I'm discussing, feel free to use the chat box or the question window which is available in the application. So please make a note that when you are submitting a question, I can very well see the questions. It's just that it's not a broadcast kind of a chat box. Others can't see a question, only I can see the question. And whenever I'm getting time in between the slides, I'll just quickly read your questions and try to answer them. Right. So please feel free to ask any questions you have in the webinar. So brief introduction about WSA. So WSA stands for Webstack Academy. We are a 20-year-old organization established in the year of 2003-2004. Our parent company is called as Emergy. We started off as a product development and a training organization, wherein we used to create products for different applications in software as well as hardware. So it's been like 2 decades since we are incorporated, and we've been established different training courses in different technologies, including embedded systems, Internet of Things, and full stack web application development. So in full stack web application development, we offer different programs, and currently we are focused in delivering trainings in a technology stack called as Stack. So WSA is a brand name. It is not a company name. It's a brand name, and Emergy is the company name which was established 20 years back. So uh, in this 20 years of our journey, we've been pioneered as a training organization, delivering trainings to fresh audiences, including freshers who are currently pursuing engineering, as well as working professionals who are interested to basically learn different technologies and upskill their knowledge. So what are the problems we are trying to solve at a very high level, right? So any company has some goal. So as a company, we have like very specific goals. One is to make people employable, right? So when you say make people employable, so what I mean is that yes, we do study different graduation programs, and many of you are still pursuing their engineering courses, or maybe about to complete their engineering, or may have completed their engineering, right? So one challenge which fresh graduates face is that they are unable to find a suitable job in the technology area which of their interest. So our goal is to increase the employability by giving different training programs to these fresh graduates in various technology areas. And Webstack Academy is focused to deliver full stack web development program to fresh engineers who are looking to get a good job in product development companies as well as good service based companies, as well as for working professionals maybe who are working in um, may not be in their core technology domain, just that they would have placed through campus and maybe they would have landed in a job which may not be so promising for them, right? So for these working professionals who are looking to upskill themselves and maybe land up in a good career in a core technology area, so we enrich their employability by training them in non-working hours, so that parallelly along with their job they can learn these promising technologies and gain the skills to crack interview in a very good product company. So that these are the two problems we are trying to solve. So it is just that the audience is different, what we deliver is same. So hope you're able to right understand what I'm trying to explain in brief. All right. So if you have any questions, I hope you can access the chat window. So it's kind of a question mark, right? It will come in the application. You can just click on it. You can post your question. All right. So moving back. So with respect to our leadership team, so our leadership team is formed consists of Mr. Mars Jukaku, who is the managing director and as well as the co-founder of WSA and Emergy, as well as Mr. Jayakumar, who is one of the directors of WSA, and I work as a technology head at Emergy. So all of us have significant experience in establishing a tech organization, and me and Jai Kumar have worked in different companies, including HP, Novell, Huawei, etc., before joining WSA as one of the partners. So we have a team of advisory members who are working currently in different companies. So it's not just that we have people who are working in-house, we have people who are working in the industry. Mr. Jilan Sharif, who is currently working as a director in Dubai Ports, DP World, right? So you might have seen DP World supporting the ICC Cricket World Cup. And he also worked in other multinational companies, including Amazon. We also have Mr. Hari Krishnan, who's working as a principal engineer at Broadcom, who's also working as an advisor and subject matter expert, and Mr. Vaidyanathan, who's a founder and CEO of USR Infotech. So we have a big team of subject matter experts and advisors who help us in basically building the curriculum and pedagogy for the courses which we offer at Webstack Academy. So what is web application? Can anyone tell me what do you understand by web application development, or have you ever developed a web application using some of the core technologies which you might have studied in college? So have you done any web application development in your past, maybe in your college as an academic project or as part of your work? Anyone? So feel free to answer in that question window. It will help me to understand where you stand. Especially if you're from computer science background, right? They will have at least some subject related to web application development. Not a problem. Okay. So web applications are there everywhere, right? So all of us use web applications in our day-to-day activities, right? For example, when you use a browser, in fact, you are running a web application. So when you talk about web applications, we just wanted to showcase a tech view of how the web application looks like. Right? For example, you open an Amazon web page, right, or Amazon web application, or you are opening a website which is going to show you the cricket score, for example, Crick Info is there, Crick Buzz is there, etc. Or you're opening a web page which is showing a news portal, right? Or you're opening a web page, for example, you're traveling somewhere, you want to search for a place to stay like Airbnb, etc. Right? You have a lot of other websites, etc. available. So web applications, underlying web applications use some kind of a technology to build the complete end-to-end web application, right? So any web application consists of uh, two important uh, aspects. One is the front end, right? So when you talk about the front end, which is nothing but the thing what you see, right? So the thing what you see is developed using some core technologies, including HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? So this is the core of the front end. So HTML is generally used to display the components which you see on a web page. So if you look at a web page, any web page contains a few important ingredients. One is the text which you want to display, right? Second is a set of images which will make the website look better, and you can display image information. And third is the multimedia information, which includes like video, audio, etc. Right? So for example, you take YouTube, it's a multimedia website. So HTML helps us to build a user interface, which is going to consist of these three major ingredients, which includes text information. And this text can be of different formats, which includes like what do you say, heading text, or it could be a link which links to a different website, or it's going to be a button which performs an action, or it could be a video or audio which shows some information, right? So along with HTML, we can use CSS, called as cascading style sheets, which is used to enhance the look and feel of a website, right? And third major component, which is or third major technology which is used to build the front end of any web application is JavaScript. So JavaScript is nothing but a programming language which helps us to build the logic to make the website more interactive. It also helps us to basically interact with the backend. So these three things form the front end of any web application. So along with that, we need to often communicate with something called as a web server. And to communicate with web server, we use different technologies like HTTP, REST, JSON, etc. And in terms of backend, so backend is divided into two aspects. One is the backend server. You might have heard about technologies like PHP, Java, J2E, etc., JE, etc. And there are other frameworks which includes more Node.js, Express, etc. So in the backend, if you look at the numbers three, so the number one is nothing but the front end. Number two is the interface, which acts as an adapter to communicate between the front end and the back end. And number three is the web server technology, which helps us to basically build a business logic, right? So this consists of different technology stacks which are available. In fact, there are many: PHP, Java, you have Ruby, you have Node-based basically stacks available. And you have something called as database, which helps us to store information and retrieve information in an efficient way. So in terms of database, there is something called as SQL-based database or relational database like SQL, and uh, NoSQL-based databases like MongoDB. So this is a very high-level view of what technologies are used to build a complete end-to-end web application. Now, based upon your company and based upon the product which you're trying to build, so you may have to use any one of this technology basically stacks in the backend, or any one of these databases in the backend to build a complete end-to-end website. But in the front end, many things are common, like HTML, CSS, JavaScript is common, and you will use REST APIs to interact with the backend and so on. So it's a very high-level view of what are the things you need to know to build a complete end-to-end web application. Now, earlier days, when you talk about web applications, there used to be a segregation, right? So people used to say that I'm a front-end developer, right, or I'm a back-end developer, right? So now, uh, more often companies, right? Yes, there are many companies who still hire like independent developers who have experience in front-end, and independent developers who are experienced in back-end. But more often, people If you have any questions, somebody has raised the hand. Please feel free to post a question. All right. So I could see somebody raising the hand. Not an issue. So hope I'm audible because my network switched right now. Sorry for the inconvenience. There was some network issue. I hope I'm audible now. Can you please confirm? Can you just confirm if I'm audible or not? Am I audible? Not audible. Okay. Again. Is it okay now? Can you please confirm? Again, sorry for the inconvenience. So what I was saying is that I was discussing about the full stack web development comparison with a non-full stack web development comparison. So hope I'm audible now. Audible now. Okay, thanks for confirmation, Ganesh. Yeah. So hope you are able to listen to the previous slides which I discussed about a web application, a brief introduction. Can you confirm from which part we are not able to hear? So were you able to see these slides about the advisory team? Okay. So as I was explaining about the web application development, so it consists of front-end technologies including HTML, CSS, JavaScript, as well as back-end technologies which includes like or Java or JavaScript based backend stack, as well as a database, which is could be SQL based database or no SQL based database like MongoDB, right? MySQL or MongoDB. So in terms of the bridge or the connection between HTML, CSS, JavaScript, which is the front end, and the back end, we use different technologies including REST, JSON, and HTTP based communication, right? So with respect to a full stack web application developer, a full stack web application developer should have knowledge about developing the front end as well as developing the back end, and they should also know how to basically connect the front end with the back end, right? So all these things should be known by a full stack web development engineer, right? So in comparison, if you see, right, if you look at a full stack web application developer, he is more of like a all rounder compared to a uh, yeah. So I could see Vineet you have joined. Hope I'm audible, Vineet, to you. All right. So why full stack development? That's a question which many people ask. Why not only a specialist role, right? It's only a front end and back end, right? So full stack development is generally used to develop data-driven websites, right? As I mentioned earlier, you have basically different type of website which requires a lot of data to be stored and retrieved from the backend. And websites often consist of large amount of data which has to be fetched simultaneously, right? So to build scalable applications, it's important that we know how to build scalable applications. This requires a deep understanding of backend technologies and database technologies as well as scaling concepts. And it's also important that we keep incrementally building the application to introduce new features as well as to fix bugs, right? So continuous development as well as continuous integration is required, so that new features can be added on the fly without much of a downtime. And finally, the websites which we develop has more of user experience and user interface, which is central to the web application development. So all these things us makes it necessary to know a complete understanding of how full stack web development applications can be built. So now, what are the verticals in which web applications are used nowadays, right? So we have uh, different verticals where web applications are developed, which includes e-commerce, social media like e-commerce. When you say Amazon, Flipkart, all these are e-commerce websites. We have social media, we have like Instagram, we have LinkedIn, etc. Travel websites, right? We use different basically hotels like Make My Trip, fintech companies, edtech companies like us, medical organizations, real estate, and so on. So different basically verticals, companies working different verticals, different domains requires them to build like web applications. Some could be of smaller scale, and many are of large scale web applications. Now, moving on, like very modern web applications which are powered by Mern Stack. These are some of the examples. Like there are web applications which includes Netflix, entertainment websites, Airbnb, Swiggy, which is commonly used by everybody nowadays, right? We have LinkedIn, which is accessed to connect and network with people. We have Twitter, Instagram, Uber, and so on, right? So all these web applications are powered by Mernstack. Now, in our course, we are primarily going to focus on Mernstack, which is a technology stack which has become very popular, initially introduced by Meta and used in development of Facebook and its other basically applications, which includes Instagram, etc. And many other companies have adopted Mon to build modern, responsive, scalable web applications. So that's in brief about the need for full stack web application. Now let's talk about what opportunity is available for people who are interested to take a job role in the full stack web development area. So let me know if any questions about full stack web development before I move. Okay. All right. So in terms of opportunities available full stack web application, just wanted to highlight that with respect to stats from US Bureau of Labor Statistics report, around 1,35,000 jobs were available in the prior to 2023, you can say, and 2024 and beyond is going to generate around 8.5 lakh jobs in the area of full stack web development. Now, this information is also reported by HackerRank. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with HackerRank, which is a web portal which helps you to solve challenging problems in programming as well as other development areas. So HackerRank has done a survey in terms of roles which are most challenging to hire. So at number one, you can see is full stack web development role, right? That comes in number one. So when you say most challenging role to hire, what does it mean, right? So because most challenging role could mean two things. One is that yes, they're finding it difficult to hire because less people are are available. There is more demand, but supply is less. In fact, that is true, right? So we have many companies who are having requirements in the area of full stack development, and but people with the necessary skill they are not able to find. So what does it mean? It means that there is good opportunity for individuals to learn this full stack web development technology so that they can grab opportunity in this promising area. So I just wanted to highlight the significance and necessity in the industry for full stack web development engineers or for full stack web developers in the market. So what does WSA uh, full stack web development course look like? Right. So I'll just brief about what we offer in the full stack web development course in WSA. So MERN is a abbreviation for MongoDB, Express, React, and Node. Don't worry about what these specific technologies are. So our primarily goal is to transform engineers or working professionals with skill gap, right? So many of you have studied engineering, but the skills which you have gained may not be enough for you to call yourself as a full stack web development engineer. So our goal is to transform uh, learners with skill gap into ready to deploy resources with organizations working in different new age web application development technologies, right? So companies have certain expectations in terms of what the employee should have. So many time what happens is that when they hire from college, so the lack of skills is evident, which puts pressure on them to train these engineers who do not have the necessary skills, right? So a lot of time is spent in training these engineers, and deploying into products consumes a lot of time and resource for them. So our goal is to make the learners be equip themselves with the necessary skill and knowledge as well as experience, so that when you look for a job, you can definitely crack the interviews, as well as when you enroll into a get onboarded into a company, you are good enough to be deployed in a company. So in terms of our uh, learning model, this is what our learning model looks like. So first of all, we have come up with a different pedagogy in the way we deliver our training. Our training is very much different from what other institutes or organization deliver. So if you look at other organizations, or if you look at your college, typically what happens is that they use an approach wherein the focus is on teaching the concepts, and it's not more on gaining an experiential learning, right? So when you say experiential learning, this is something which we have coined. So we wanted to basically not just learn the technology, but to learn the technology the right way so that you can build products. So our unique pedagogy involves experiential learning with an agile methodology. So more about this, I'll talk in the upcoming slides. Our training mode is live virtual classes. Currently, we don't have any on-premise or offline classes. So every 5 days a week, there will be virtual classes plus interventions or doubt clearing sessions, and the course duration is 9 months. And this 9 month is divided into 3 levels, 3 months into 3 levels. So initially, it's going to be more of foundations, and as you progress from one term to another, you're going to basically learn new technologies, work on more projects, and so on. So to summarize our learning outcomes, so at the end of the course, you will be doing around 12 guided projects covering the entire syllabus, right? So these projects, some of them will be done along with the mentor in the live sessions itself. Some of them you have to work independently so that you can gain confidence and build projects on your own as well. So these 12 projects will be of different sizes and different complexity. Right from the basics, we'll start with projects, right? So in the first month of joining, you will build one project. It's not that you're going to learn about the technologies. You'll start by building a project. So we are taking an approach which is a slightly different approach. It's not like a top down. It's not like a bottom approach we're taking approach wherein we'll introduce you to a project, we'll explain you the project, and we'll equip you with the knowledge necessary to build the project. That is our USP. Along with Mon stack based topics, it's necessary to have knowledge about data structures and algorithms, right? So if you look at any product based company, tier one company, be it top notch companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, or any of the top product companies, DSA is an important basically aspect we should be knowing so that you can crack these companies. So we have introduced DSA also as part of the course, and DSA will be taught extensively. You will be solving hundreds of problems as part of the course so that you can crack the top company interviews. So apart from learning about technologies, building projects, as well as solving that DSA problems, we have expert in-house mentors who will teach you these technologies from scratch, and we also have industry mentors who are working in different companies who will give you the bigger picture, right? It's not just about building these products, it's about building the products the right way. So industry mentors are there who actually helped us to build these projects, plus they will do uh, code reviews in terms of giving you feedback in terms of how you have built the project, right? So one is that we build a project, we get an output, but we should not stop there. We should build a project in the way it has to be built, in the way the companies expect you to do. So industry mentors have already basically given us the project uh, specifications. They have given us the design. They have given us the code as well as in terms of how the code needs to be built. So when you build the project, eventually we will give feedback in terms of what are the shortcomings and what has to be improved. This will help you to basically gain a better experience. Finally, there are possibilities for you to transition from a full stack web development engineer and to gain knowledge in the area of AI and ML in the future by having FSD as a foundation for you. So we're not telling that we're going to teach AI ML here, but by learning FSD, your next step could be to learn AI and ML as well. So this is what we offer in our full stack web development course. So moving on, so what are the modules you're going to learn as part of the 9 months course? So first and foremost, we'll teach you about front-end design and development, right? So in front-end design and development, we'll teach you how to build modern, responsive web applications using HTML5, CSS, etc. We'll also teach you how to use important software, basically development tools like Git and GitHub, so that you can manage your source code in the way it has to be managed. We'll also teach you JavaScript as a programming language, and JavaScript can be used in developing front end as well as a back end, right? Since we are using Monster. So apart from learning JavaScript as a programming language, we will also build dynamic websites by using all the technologies which we introduced, as well as we'll also learn how to build dynamic website by using REST APIs. So REST is a fundamental concept which any web developer should be knowing. Then at the end of the first module, we'll introduce you to the React framework. Right? So React is a framework which is used to build modern responsive websites in a much more effective way. So after the first module is completed, we move on to the next module wherein we'll introduce you to data structures and algorithms. So we'll start with the basics of time complexity and space complexity. So it's more of how to build efficient programs. Then we'll introduce you to different concepts including arrays and different data structures including stacks, queues, linked list, etc. So these are the core of any DSA course, and more often it's important to solve hundreds of problems so that you can be ready for top-notch product-based companies. So to equip yourself with the necessary knowledge to crack these companies, we'll solve hundreds of DSA problems to make you job ready. So this is the second module, and second module will consist of DSA as well as additional topics from front end and back end technologies as well. So meta module 3, backend design and development. Here we'll introduce you to the backend web development architecture, which includes Express, Node, Express, and MongoDB, right? Which is nothing but the database technology used. And along with that, finally, we'll also prepare you for interviews towards the end of the course. So we'll refresh the concepts what you learned previously. It's important that we don't forget things. We'll also conduct mock interviews and we'll also solve some company specific problems and DSA problems so that just before you attend interviews, you are very much confident and thorough with all the technologies which you learned and which you can expect in the interviews. So in brief, these are the 4 modules or meta modules which we cover as part of the entire full stack web development course. To summarize, right, we'll teach you the foundations, which includes front end basics as well as basics of backend. Then we'll move on to the advanced in technologies which are part of the front end module, including React and React advanced concepts, and backend technologies including Node, Express, and MongoDB. And we'll also get you introduced with data structures and algorithm, wherein you'll solve more and more programming problems. And third, basically level is mastery and beyond, which includes advanced backend, advanced DSA, and placement preparation. So in summary, this what we are going to focus on, and by doing this, definitely you will be able to land up in a very good product-based company or a very good service-based company who are looking for full stack web development engineers. Any questions so far? Feel free to ask any questions if you have any. Okay, so maybe I'll move on. In the earlier slide, I explained that we'll be using a concept called as experiential learning using Agile. So when you join the course, yes, definitely we'll start with the basics. But our core fundamental is that we'll start with the project always, and each project will be backed by the necessary skill to build the project, right? So idea is that our goal is very clear. Our goal is to build a project. Now to build a project, whatever skills you need, that will also be introduced in the class and lab session, right? And this approach is used in companies also. When you're going to build a new project, it's not that you are going to learn whatever is required to build a project to begin with, but you will have a clear understanding of what the project is, what needs to be built, right? Then you'll work backward. So you'll learn whatever is required to build the project. So similar approach is used in our course also. So we'll teach you the necessary skills to build the project. Incrementally, we'll be working on the project features. And once the implementation is done, we'll complete that project. And if there are any issues, concerns, etc., you'll be fixing those bugs and doing it, right? So we'll build the features incrementally and keep adding new features, keep implementing them, and keep evaluating them multiple times as part of the product life cycle. Right? So this incremental and iterative way of building a project is called as agile methodology, which has been used in many of the product development practices, and especially it suits web-based application development. Right? So this is what we're going to use so that you can start small, keep adding new features, and eventually have a full-fledged, complete working product. All right. So To summarize, popular companies have built great products by working backwards, right? First, they talk to the customer, get the requirements, and eventually use this agile methodology to build amazing products. So WSA is unique and ethics industry first and innovative pedagogy is in alignment with how the product companies work, right? When project-driven learning is implemented. So we are using a project-driven learning to deliver this course. So this is carved out based out of our 2 decades of experience, right? We are a 20-year-old organization, uh, which is helping learners learn things the right way. Okay. So project-driven approach also increases the learner motivation by reducing learner fatigue, right? Often what happens is that, right, as time progresses, people tend to lose interest. So we wanted to make sure that learners are interested by working on multiple projects, right? So when you complete a project, you get a sense of satisfaction, you get a sense of confidence, right? So we're not like building one project at the end of the course, right? We're building 12 projects or let's say more, even more. People can do more at the end of this course. So that way you will have a big number of projects in your portfolio updated, and you'll also build your confidence and keep your interest levels high during the course. In summary, you learn as you do in a company. All right. So more of we're using an approach wherein in each term we're learning things in an agile way. Initially, we'll learn the core technologies, and as time progresses, we'll introduce a new concept in each of these technologies areas. And we are not taking a depth first approach, we're taking a breadth first approach wherein we learn the necessary things and keep building incrementally on each of these technology stacks, which will help you to build new projects one after another, right? So in term one, you'll build some low complexity to medium complexity project. In term two, you'll build medium complexity project. In term three, you will build much more complex projects in the term three. That way, covering all the required topics which are part of the MERN stack. So please note this also include data structures which is stitched into the course. So overall, we'll have as part of the delivery model, we'll have every week 5 days live classes and doubt clearing sessions. Code along approach is used wherein the mentor will build the project in the live session so that you get a first-hand information and experience on how to build a project the right way. You'll also be building your projects on your own, and there will be lab interventions and doubt clearing sessions. At the end, our outcome is that you have built multiple projects as an outcome of the course. So you learn the way you work in the industry. That's our goal. So this is it in terms of WSA's delivery model. We use an experiential learning with agile methodology as the core focus as part of our delivery model. So this will help you to definitely gain experience in product development and land up in good companies at the end of the course. So do you have any questions before I move to the next session, which is a hands-on demo of developing a simple web application using web development technologies? So I'm going to unshare my screen and share the screen again so that I can navigate to the coding platform. Anybody has any questions? Screen, yeah, screen Ganesh, I have unshared because I'm going to share another screen for building a small application. Right, so I'm going to build a small application so that you get an idea of how to get started with the web application development. What you will be doing as part of the course. We just wanted to share a small snapshot of it. Okay. Okay. So I'll share my screen again. Don't worry. Hope my screen is visible now. And just confirm. Okay. Thanks for confirming. So what I'll do is I'll try to build quickly a small application which is going to be a web application to display weather information for a given city. So to quickly show a demo of how the weather application looks like, let me just run this application. Yep. All right. So this is a very simple weather app which has minimalistic user interface. The goal is to introduce you to building a small front-end application which uses HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to build the user interface, and also to see how we can integrate the front end with a backend service to display the weather information. So when you talk about building a web application, there are two parts. One is the front end, which has the necessary user interface, and the backend, which implements most of the business logic and stores data. So let me show you a quick demo of what the web application does. Right. So what I'm going to do is that I'll type the name of a city here, Bangalore or Bengaluru. Right. Let me type it. So this is an input box wherein I can enter the name of a city, and here there is a button called as Get Weather. When you click on this Get Weather, should fetch the weather information for the given city. Right. So as soon as I click, you can see that it's loading the weather information for Bangalore, which is currently 31 degrees, little hot. Humidity is 40 percentage, and weather it shows that weather information is like there are few clouds. Maybe I'll switch to another city. Let me type London. Okay, let's see how's the climate in London. Right, it's 20 degrees, humidity is 45 percentage, weather overcast clouds. Right, let me type maybe Delhi. Okay. Get the weather from Delhi. Right, temperature is 26, humidity is 57, weather is hazy. Let me type Srinagar. Let's see how's the climate. Is it snowing over there? Overcast clouds, humidity very high, temperature is low. So this is a very simple web application which is dynamic. Right? So if you look at this web application, it's very simple. It has a text which displays the name of the application. There is an image which is displayed. There is an input box which is going to take the name of the city. There is a button which clicked. It's going to fetch the information from some weather service. So what do you think? How much time will it take to build this application? Is it really complex or is it very simple? So it's not very complex. It's just that we need to know the necessary concepts to build the UI, as well as we need to know how we can interact with the backend using REST APIs. And given the time, I'm not going to teach you everything from scratch, uh, especially communication with the backend, but I'll show you how to get started to develop a simple web application. Now, first and foremost, to develop any web application, we need to use ID, which helps us to type in the necessary code, right? So typically for developing web application, people prefer to use an ID like VS Code or Visual Studio Code, where you can create files and type in the necessary HTML, CSS, and JavaScript contents. So to start with, I'm going to create the user interface in a file called as index.html. Okay, and VS Code provides some shortcuts which will help us to basically auto-complete the code with very less typing, right? So we can focus on the user interface rather than the integrities of HTML. So first and foremost, if you look at this file, it is not a programming language. HTML is not a programming language. Here we can describe the content to be displayed using something called tags, right? So you can see there is a head tag, there is a body tag, there is a HTML tag, etc. And this tag we can describe the content to be displayed. So in the head tag you can display the title of the website. I can say weather app, right? This title will be displayed, for example. And let me stop this application for now. All right. And in the body tag, you can decide what contents you want to display in the web page. So I can start with the heading. Headings are having different levels. H1 typically indicates the biggest of the sizes in the heading. So I can say the app. Right? So first I'll display this text. Let's see how it looks like. I'll click on this go live button, and as soon as I click on it, you can see the text is displayed. Right. So we have created our first HTML page herein wherein displaying the weather app in the title uh, bar, and we're displaying a heading called as weather app. So next, if you see here, we're displaying image. So what I'll do is I'll show you this image called as cloud.png, right, which is nothing but the image we want to display in the body. So to display an image, we can use an image tag called as img, right? So as you can see, VS Code helps us to auto-complete the code with less of typing. So I'll give the image name, cloud.png. That's it, right? Now if I look at the uh, browser, you can see that yes, the text is displayed as well as the image is also displayed. Next, if we look at the actual application, we need to display input uh, uh, element as well as a button. So to create an input element, I can use input and text. I want to use it to enter text. So you can give a text as the type of input. I can give a name as well as an ID, right? So I can say name as city, and for now I will ID as city as well, right? So let me save this. You can see here it's displaying the uh, input box. Now there is an issue here. It's coming after the image immediately. I can do this in many ways. To keep it simple, I want to say that yes, input should come next line. I'll use a VR tag here. As soon as I do that, you can see input is coming below the image. Next, I need another input, which is nothing but a button. So I'll create a button element. Let's say get weather. So by doing this, we can see that we have built the necessary user interface of the website, which is very, very minimalistic, right? So if we see there is a heading, there is an image, there is an input, there is a button. Now this was pretty fast, right? So creating a simple user interface does not take much time. But the next thing is that how do we integrate this with, for example, our um, backend service? Now, where do I get the weather information? This question pops up, right? Who's going to give the necessary weather information? Typically, there are web services which provides APIs to facilitate applications to access its services. One good example is we use Google Maps, right? So Google Maps provides location information, right? So we can it gives maps information based upon location. So I can say that okay, based upon my current location, display the map. Or I can say that okay, I want to navigate from one place to another. So I'll enter the source location, I'll enter the destination location, and you can navigate to that location by getting the directions from one point to another. So Google necessarily provides something called as APIs, which helps you to navigate from one place to another, which helps you to get information about how much time it takes from one place to another, and it is used by different services like Swiggy, Uber, etc. So Google acts as a service provider for their application. Similarly, to access weather information, so there is a website called as Open Weather Map. Open Weather Map uh, provides weather information by providing APIs. Now, what is an API? API is nothing but a application programming interface or set of uh, interfaces which helps you to access some service from it. For example, Google provides APIs to access map information. Open Weather provides APIs to access weather information for a given location. Right? So I can say that, okay, I want to access weather in a city. Here I can type something like Bengaluru, and it's going to help you fetch the weather information. I can change the city, for example, London. It gives the weather information for the specific city, right? So this service is provided by Open Weather Map, and you can use this service in our application. So I'll show you how to do that, right? So to do that, we have to build a backend for that. Let me quickly navigate to the backend code. So uh, in this webinar, I'll show you an existing code which I have written to get the information from the backend. So considering the limitation of time, I don't want to write the code from scratch. So what I'm going to do is that here, if you see, right, so get weather is a button. Currently, this button does not do anything, right? Let me show you. As of now, when I type something here, click on it, nothing is happening. Right? I'm not able to get this information. I need to connect this button to the backend. How do you connect this to this button to the backend is the question, right? To connect the backend to the button, we need to basically use JavaScript. So let me show you how to use JavaScript to integrate this button. All right. So what I've done here is, okay, in this updated user interface, I've added a code to implement the on-click event. So what is on click? On click is nothing but event which will be registered when you click on a button. When you take an action using your mouse, like click, you can say that okay, get the weather information. Right. So when you click on this button, get the weather information. So what does this weather information do? So if I go to this get weather info function, which is there in script.js, it does few things. The first thing what it does is that it gets the name of the city from the text input box, right? So how do you get the name of the city from the text input box? So there are certain built-in functions available inside the browser which you can access. Now these are built-in functionality which we'll be teaching you when you actually enroll for the course. So document dot get element by ID, right? So if you remember, the name of the input basically text item was city. So I want to get the name of the city. To get the name of the city, I can use this code, right? And I'll store the name of the city in a variable called as city name. So I can log it also, right? And print this information. Other languages like C, etc., use a function called as printf. In JavaScript, use a function called as console.log, which will help you to basically display the name of the city. After that, I want to access the weather information from openweathermap.org API. To do that, I'm going to call a function called as getInfo from API. Here I'm going to call this function and pass the name of the city. So it's very simple. For a given city like Bengaluru or London or Chennai or Srinagar, I want to get the weather information. So moving on, if you see this function, it may look little uh, complex for somebody who's new to JavaScript, not an issue. So idea is that any service you want to access, you have to give the name of the URL, right? For example, let's say you go to a website like google.com, right? What happens when you type google.com? So when you type google.com, it displays this page. It's not going to do anything as such, right? But if I type something like this, q is equal to Bengaluru, I'm telling google.com give information about Bengaluru, right? So I need to pass additional parameters to the URL, which typically non-programmers are not concerned, but as a programmer, this is what you want to display. I want to display information about Bengaluru. Let's see what happens, right? So as soon as you do that, it's showing this information, right? So sorry, I did a mistake. The parameter which I passed was not correct, right? So let me do it once again, right? I'll type google.com slash what is that you want to search for? Say q is equal to Delhi, for example. Let's see what it is. It is displaying this information about Delhi. So google.com is a service which returns results about a specific parameter which you are passing. Similarly, Open Weather Map API, you can pass a parameter like a city name, it will display the information about a given city. So in our code, what we are trying to do is that we're telling Weather API to display information about a specific city, right? And for that, it's not just that we can directly pass the city, we need to pass certain credentials also, which is called API key. Otherwise, what happens is that anybody can access the service and often the server will get flooded and it will go down. So to make sure that the access is restricted, the API key has to be obtained from the website. You have to register in the website, obtain an API key. So this is my API key. I have mentioned the API key here. So this is for security reasons. So I'll invoke this API by using a function called as fetch. So after fetching the weather information, I'm going to display the results, which includes temperature, humidity, and weather description in the HTML. So there are ways to do that. So here what I'm going to do is that I'm going to display the temperature obtained from the fetch URL. I'm going to display the humidity from the fetch URL. I'm going to display the description, which could be like cloudy, hazy, etc., which is returned by the API. And finally, the result will be updated in the HTML. So this function will fetch the information from the Open Weather Map website and display the information as HTML in the website which we have developed. So let me run this once again so that you're able to validate how the website looks like. Right? So I'm running this Bengaluru. Sorry, not this one. I've opened multiple. Let me close this. This is the one. All right. Let me enter Chennai, for example, get weather. It's going to display the temperature in Chennai. So this was a simple demo of how we can build a weather app application by implementing the user interface in HTML, by implementing the REST API interface using JavaScript. So don't worry if you didn't get a complete picture, but it was very quick demo so that you get a idea of how to develop a web application. And more often our course will be building much more complex applications, which will include applications like weather application, music player, task manager application. It could be an Airbnb application, could be a flight management application, etc., or a social media application, and so on. So as part of the course, we're going to introduce you to much more complex concepts as well. So that was a quick demo of how to build a simple web application using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. All right. Do you have any questions? So meanwhile, we'll share this code to you by enrolling you to our LMS so that you can access it, and you can also practice on your own as well. Anybody has any questions so far? All right. So let me move on to the next topic, which is placements, right? Often we learn many things, but what is the outcome, right? What is the end result? Yes, definitely you'll gain the skills and you'll be able to build full stack web applications. The end result is not just gaining the skills, it's about landing in a good job, right? That's what everybody wants. So with respect to placements, this is what we have to say. So in terms of WSA placements, we have around 1,200 clients, which includes uh, clients working in product companies as well as service-based companies. So once you're enrolled to the course, in the third term, you can start applying for placements. And these placements will continue for 2 years after you complete the course as well. So often some people are already working, they need more time to apply, and some of them may take more time to crack the interviews also. So we have given enough window for you to apply for companies. It's not just that you can apply for a limited time, you can apply for a very long window. So we'll offer the placement opportunity for 2 years unlimited placement support. And minimum salary, we are expecting around 4.5 lakhs per annum. And by enrolling to the course, we'll give 100% placement guarantee or money back. Right? This is what we need to offer. And by completing and attending all the classes as well as completing the projects, definitely you should be able to land up in a very good core company. So we wanted to keep this very simple. We have a huge number of clients who are partnered with us, who hire from us from our company, and they look for people who are trained in full stack development technology. So if you are interested to know more about the course as well as placements, you can get in touch with our course counselors. So this is the contact detail. Training at webstackacademy.com is the email, and phone number is also shared. You can make a note of this email ID and phone number so that if you have further queries with respect to the course and information like fees, etc., you can get in touch with them. They will share all the information. So if you want, you can take a screenshot of it and you can save it and get in touch with us later. All right, the phone number is 8095 013 999, and email ID is training@webstackacademy.com. So our course is tentatively scheduled to start on 24 April, the next batch. Next batch will start on 24 April. So you can make a note of this date and you can enroll for the next batch based upon your availability. So definitely it will help you to basically learn the necessary technologies as well as land up in a good job in the full stack domain. Anybody has any questions? All right, so some of you are asking about the fee information, etc. What I will do is I will ask our one of our course counselors to explain and share more details about the fee information, etc. Sazma, are you there? I have unmuted you. If you want, I can give you access as well. Make you an organizer also.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Azma.
Yes, sir. Thank you for giving an opportunity to speak over here. And I'll just proceed only with the fee details here, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, good evening, all. As you already got an information regarding the course, how it is being taken forward, how the teaching pedagogy is completely different than what the normal pedagogy is. Let me come to the direct course duration. The course duration will be for 9 months, and it will be divided into three phases. First 3 months will be your first phase, second 3 months will be your second phase, and the next 3 months will be your third phase. So you'll be completing, as I think even sir said also, like 12 projects you'll be completing in this whole duration. And the classes will be there starting from 8 o'clock to 10:30, 4 days in a week. Okay, and the remaining days is completely given for you people to work on your assignments, your projects, so that you concentrate on your skills and build more so that you can easily get the placements. Talking about the fees, the complete course fee is 1,40,000. With we are offering a discount particularly for this April month batches, and the fee has been reduced for 1,20,000. So it is directly an offer for you of 20%. 20,000 are getting reduced for this particular month. The batch is going to start from April 24th. In this further, you have the discounts. There is an option provided for the people who want to pay in installment. You can either proceed with the 4 installment process for 1,20,000, or you can also opt for our 12 months, 18 months, and 24 months EMI option, that is interest free loans through our lending partners. So there will be a monthly EMI what you have to pay, and you can either select the tenure for 12 months, 18 months, or 24 months. Talking more about the discounts regarding this, if you are making a one shot payment, your fees will be reduced for 91,000 directly. We have a two installment options too provided with the fees reduction of 40,000. That is, the fees will be 1 lakh completely. Okay. And scholarship discount is also given for the students who are in the final year of engineering or even pursued engineering in the last year. That is 2023 pass outs and 24 pass out students can avail this scholarship discount, and this is particularly for engineering students who have completed BE BTech into any branches. If your percentages or CGPA aggregate of all the semesters is between 70 to 75%, you will be getting a scholarship discount of 5,000, and if it is above 75,000, you'll be getting a scholarship of 10,000. Okay, I understand this is little overwhelmed, and you are unable to, if you are unable to understand the complete information regarding the fees, you can reach out to me on the given numbers. I'll help you out and make you understand a complete in details how you can do the admission process, how could be your fees reduction, and if you are opting for an installment option, how easy it will be for you. Okay, I'm giving it back to the Mubeen sir. Any queries, the number is provided. You can either WhatsApp me or call me on the same. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Asma, for fee related information. So please note, with what we are offering, uh, this fee is not very high because the duration is 9 months. The pedagogy is more effective and more valuable than what other basically edtechs are providing. So easily, if you look at other edtech organization, so you can see that fees is double with what offerings they are giving, and they also don't offer placements. Many of them don't promise about placements. We are promising about placements as well. We're giving 100% placement guarantee, or it's going to be money back. So that's what we wanted to basically convey with you. So you can take your time. You can reach out to us in the given contact information which we shared. And definitely, basically, by enrolling to this course, you will have a very good learning experience and outcome of getting placed in a good core company. So let me also share our social media coordinates, right? In case you wanted to get more information about us, you can visit LinkedIn profile, which is Webstack Academy IT. So we do post information about other webinars which we conduct, which are more in technical in nature, as well as information about course and placements, etc., are also shared in LinkedIn and Instagram as well, right? Some of you may want to basically follow there as well. So Instagram coordinates are also Webstack Academy IT. So we are located in Bangalore. So Webstack Academy, if you want to visit us anytime, if you happen to be in Bangalore, you can uh, reach out to us. We can visit us in MG Road. It's just 2 minutes walk from the MG Road metro station. So this is the address, Webstack Academy for our towers, first floor MG Road. So you can talk to our course counselors directly by visiting us as well. All right. So with this, I would like to say thank you for being uh, patiently listening to us and participating in this webinar. So feel free to reach out to us and have a wonderful evening. And thank you once again. So we'll send you the recording of this webinar and access details of the source code of the project which was discussed today as well. So feel free to share it with others and you can reach out to us for more information. Thank you and have a good evening to all of you.